This conference will now be recorded.
No, so yeah, what today we are going to cover, we'll cover HANA operations. So in that we will see how to start and stop the HANA database, what are the tools are available for starting and stopping, and then how to configure the HANA database INA files in the configuration tab is there in the HANA Studio. So let me show you. So in the HANA Studio, we have the configuration tab. So tab configuration tabs, we have to configure uh, for each and every HANA database. If you install or upgrade, then we have to configure the settings. Okay, so we'll see that. So this configuration tab. So under that configuration tab, we have a lot of things. Okay, the parameters we have. These all are the INA files. Okay, so under the configuration tab, we have the INA files. So this INA file is nothing but the, if you compare with the application, is the profile. So in SAP, we have the default profile, ASS profiles, then instance profiles. So here we have the INA files. So concepts are similar. We'll see that in detail. So let's start. Starting and stopping the HANA database. To able to start and stop SAP HANA systems, you must have the credential of the SID ADM. We all know. So if you have the SID ADM, user ID, and the password, then you can start and stop the HANA database. SAP Start Services, which is installed by default, okay, for any SAP application. If you install any SAP application or database, this SAP Start service is installed by default. So SAP Start Services is the standard SAP mechanism for starting and stopping the SAP systems. So the systems are start and stop using the SAP Start service. The SAP Start services start all necessary database services such as name servers, index servers, and the statistic servers, and others, the processes of the HANA database. So when you execute HDB start or HDB stop, this SAP start SRV receive the signals command, and then it does the start and stop of the HANA database services. SAP HANA database can be started or stopped by using the HANA Studio or using the OS command as well. Most preferable or recommendations are the OS command. Okay, so we'll see that how to start and stop from the HANA Studio as well. So to start and stop, so we have the SAP HANA Studio, we have the OS commands. So under the OS commands, we have the HDB command for starting and stopping the HANA database. Also, we have the SAP controls programs which also use to start and stop the HANA database. Okay, so if you see, we already HANA should I'll explain. Okay, so for if you see that OS command HDB start and HDB stop, we already know. But for the starting using stopping using the SAP controls, we have to yeah, we can also use this one. So I'll show you that how we can start and stop through the SAP control programs. Okay, so you have to log in with the SID ADM. So whatever systems you want to start and stop, you have to log in with that SID ADM. Okay, so I logged in with Dev ADM. Okay, if you don't know the syntax, okay, then there's a the help is there. If you type SAP control in small, SAP control in small, so if you press enter, then it will give you the help, and here you will see the examples how to the syntax for starting and stopping. So not complete, but I'll tell you that. So if you see that here example is there. So SCP control, okay, then hyphen NR is the instance number. So here example is 0. Okay, so whatever instance number you have, you put that 00, 01, 02, whatever instance you have for HANA database. Then hyphen function, all is small. Then to get the information for your processes, what are the processes are running, you can use the get process list. Okay, I'll show you that. So my instance number is 00. So no change here. Only thing is that you just type 00. Yeah. If you're 00, if you have 01, then you type 01. This command gives you the overview of the services running on the servers. Okay. So if you see that daemon is running, okay, then compiles, index servers, name servers, preprocessor, web dispatchers. Okay, so these are the services are running at the OS level. So you can see from OS level as well as from the HANA Studio. You can also see from the under the landscape services. So whatever you can see under the services from the HANA Studio, same thing you can see from here as well. Now, how to start and stop? Okay, so now the services are started already. If you see that it is green running, okay, the start date time. Okay, so if it is green, that means that it is running. Sometime it is gray out, and then in the yellow color. Okay, so gray out means stop, and then warning means it is starting. Okay, or sometime gray out, maybe due to the services not stopping or not starting, something kind of, sorry, not starting. So if it is not starting, then your services will gray out. Okay, so now how to stop? So right now it is started, so use the same till here function. Okay, type, and then for stop you just type stop as capital. Yeah, just type stop as capital and then enter. Okay, so you will get this one, status. Okay, that means fine. So you can see the status, execute the same get process list to check the status of the HANA systems. So now it is stop. If you see that the services are stopped. Now how to start? The same, instead of stop you just type start as capital. Okay, so where is the, yeah, so and then start as capital. And then if you see the get process list, it will show you the status. Yeah, so it is now initializing. If you see that initializing, then yellow. Okay, so it is doing the startup. So now it is coming green. Okay, so I prefer this only. Okay, so nowadays SAP will use only SAP controls. Okay, for starting and stopping the SAP application or database. So if you see in the S4 HANA 1909 onwards, SAP start SAP script is not there. So to start and stop the application, you have to use the SAP control programs. So start SAP, stop SAP. The script is not there in S4 HANA 1909 and 2020. So going forward, SAP will introduce this SAP control for HANA database as well. Okay, so we should use this in our project for starting and stopping any application. You can start and stop your SAP application using the SAP controls. You can stop application servers. You can stop and start your ASCS as well. Just you have to provide the instance number. So for example, if your ASCS number is 01, you just put 01, and your past additional application or the primary applications of instance number is something 02, 05, 06. Just you put the instance number here, and then you do the start and stops. Okay, it's very simple. Any questions till now? All good? Yeah. So you already familiar with this all, because in day-to-day activity you are doing this and everything. Fine. Sorry, someone is asking. Any questions? No. Okay. Okay. So now, how to start and stop from the HANA Studio? Okay. So you have to log in with the systemdb. Okay. So here, if you start and stop OS level or SID from the HANA Studio, then your systemdb and all tenant database will start and stop automatically. Okay, to start and stop individual tenant database, then you have to log into the systemdb, and from there you can execute the commands for stopping and starting the individual tenant database. Yeah. So we'll go in HANA Studio and see how to start and stop the systems. Okay. So to start and stop from to stop from the HANA Studio, you have to log in into the systemdb. Okay, so yeah, so just log into the systemdb and then right click your systemdb, and then go to the configuration and monitorings. Okay, and then stop. If you want to restart, you just click on the restart systems. If you want to only stop, then you can stop. So I'm going to restart. So if you click on the restart systems, then it will ask the SID ADM password. Yeah. So I'm going to restart hard. You can do the soft as well. Okay, the soft you can schedule the shutdown. Okay, so I'm just doing the hard. Stop system immediately, open transactions are aborted, and the rollbacks. Now here it is asking the SID ADM and password. Without this, you cannot stop and stop. You cannot stop and start. So now here my is Dev ADM, and then password is welcome all. And if you see, this screen, the services will disappear, and then it will show you the process, the informations, what it does. So if you see that here with the daemon, then yeah. So I'll explain that daemon. If you see the daemon is stop first. Okay, just you notice this one. Yeah, I'll explain this. My daemon is stop first, and the daemon is start first. Whenever you do this stop, the daemon stop first, and whenever you do start, the daemon start first. I will explain this why, and then after that later other process start and stops after the daemon done. So here is the 5-second interval. So every 5 seconds it will refresh. So if you see that services are started. Okay, all greens. Okay, just double click. So don't use the HANA Studio. If you have the OS access, then do it from the OS. If HANA Studio, if something goes wrong, network issues from your laptop to servers, connectivity issues, something break in between, and that time you done the start and stop. So if the command is not reached through the servers, then there may be some issue. Okay, so avoid using the HANA Studio for stopping and starting for the HANA database. Always use OS command. Okay, now coming to the next topic. So any questions till now, guys?
So you are saying the demons stopping and starting first.
Yeah, I'll explain that. Till now, any questions? No. Okay,
No.
fine. Okay, fine. So let's start. So you can also kill or stop the individual services, but that is not advisable.
Sir, by using root user, we can also start and stop.
No, you cannot. So yeah, I know that in my here it is mentioned that something. Where is there any something is mentioned? No, right?
You go to the next slide there. In this particular slide. Yeah, this
Where?
is by here we cannot like. Actually, I'm going through the HANA administration guide from a help portal. There it is mentioned that by root user you can also start and stop.
No, not possible to be root. Yeah,
Okay.
not sure. Maybe possible because SAP control runs with the root as well. But you try, but if you try with the root, then SAP control program will not, exist. Will give you the error that SAP controls.
Yeah, but it is here. It is giving error. Fail Nikon refused. Something
Yeah,
error.
yeah, correct. So that is maybe old something. It is not updated. Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. So you can do the start and stop of the of individual services, but that is not advisable. So do not stop individual services. If you do, then it create a problems. So do not uh, stop individual services. If you want, you can restart entire database using the SAP control or SDP start and stop. Fine. Okay. Yeah. So the configuration of SAP HANA database. That one I will explain that later. Yeah. So configuration of SAP HANA database. So how to configure the database? So in the HANA database, we have the INI files for each and every services like index servers, the name servers, the pre-compiled servers, okay, daemon services. They have their own configuration files, and that configuration files we call INI files. Whatever the parameters we want to change, for example, if you want to change some parameters for index servers, then you have to change in the index servers.ini. Okay, like this. There are some the global parameters are always, which is globally available for your uh, entire database, entire tenant. Okay, so the global.ini file is there. So some global configuration like backup configurations. So backups configuration, then memory management. Okay, memory trackings. Okay, so you can configure in the global.ini as well. So the global.ini, some are the global parameters which is applicable for systemdb and then tenant database as well. So in systemdb we have the global.ini as well as in the tenant database we have the global.ini. Okay, so some parameters are only applicable for your tenant database. Okay, like in the tenant database we have the index server and the access engine. Okay, so there we have the global.ini. If you configure the global.ini for tenants for some parameters, then it will be reflecting for entire services of the tenants, like in the index servers, access engine. Okay, same thing for the system DB. Okay, but some of the parameters in the system DB for the global.ini is applicable for your entire database. Okay, like memory, the CPU, or you can restrict those and the backup configuration. So from the system DB, you can configure the backups in the global.ins. So the backup, trigger from tenant system database. So we can trigger the backups from system DB. Okay, and we can recover the back tenant database from the system. So system DB is basically used for administrative purpose like backups and the recovery. So the some parameters are there for backup configuration in system DB. We do in the global.ini, which is applicable for entire systems. Okay, so property of SAP HANA database systems are determined by the configuration parameters. The property of the SAP HANA database systems are defined in the parameters of its configuration files. The parameters can be displayed and changed on the configuration tab of the administrator and editor of the SAP HANA Studio. Do not change parameters directly in the configuration files from the operating systems. So you can change two-way. We have the options. First is the three-way. You can change the the configuration files. First is the configuration tab from the HANA Studio, which is recommended. The second is the using the SQL commands. Okay, so SQL command is also there. Okay, you can use SQL commands to change the configuration files. Also, the third is the you can change it from the OS level. Okay, so third option is not recommended. Same like in the SAP application. So it is not recommended to change any the parameters in the instance from the OS level in the profiles, like here the profiles. So we don't change from the OS level. So we change it from the RZ10. That is the recommended. The same here. If you want to change, you use configuration tab from the HANA Studio, or you can use the SQL commands. Okay, but do not change from the OS level. The location for the configuration files, the whatever files you change, whatever the configuration you change from the configuration tab or from the SQL the command to the SQL commands, those changes are recorded at the OS level. So the INI files are created for each and every individual services. Whatever the services you modify, okay, you add or delete. So the services.inf files are created. These files are text files, and which is stored in this location. So this is the location: USR, SAP, SID, is global. Okay, HDB custom config. Inside that config, you will see all the INI files. So I'll show you that. Yeah, maybe later I'll show. So whatever we change, the changes are reflected into the files at the OS level. So from the OS level, you can see what are the parameters customer change. So after the installations, we change many parameters. Okay, so yeah, so we change many parameters. So what are the parameters we change? Those all parameters are stored at the OS level. So by looking the OS level, that files, you can see that what are the parameters till now we have changed. Okay, so yeah, so I'll explain that. Okay, so if you go in the configuration tab, so you will see the configuration files. So this INA files is nothing but the configuration file. This INA files is nothing but the configuration files. So we have the attributes.ini, daemon, executor, extensions. A lot of things are there which I am also not aware. So whatever we use on a daily basis, so basically we use for global.ini, then we use most of the time global.ini, then index servers.ini. Okay, so in this one we change a lot of things. Okay, so we'll see that what we change and how we change and what is the recommendations. So under the configuration files, if you expand the INA files, you will see the section. Okay, so backup section, debug section, event handler, memory managers. This is the section. Under the section, if you expand the section, you will get the parameters. So this is the parameter: async underscore free target, global underscore allocation limit. Okay, and then this is the values. This is the values. This is the values. This is the parameters. Okay, the parameter value is this one. Yeah. So we have the configuration files section, then parameters, and then parameters values. Okay. So if you see, INF file location. If you go to the OS level, if you go that location, you will see that daemon.ini, accessengine.ini, global.ini, statistics servers.ini, name servers, index servers. So this is the old one, HANA database 1.0 screen, but the concept are same. Okay, so whatever the parameters you change from the configuration tab or SQL commands. Okay, so the files are created. For example, if you change anything in the global.ini, so global.ini, in that global.ini, you will see that your parameters, what are the parameters you have changed. Okay, we'll see that in the practice. So some are the INA files which is which is system specific. We don't change, like SAP profile.inis, so which is created by default and which contain the SIDs and then instance number Then we have the daemon.ini. So this daemon.ini contain the database services for starting and stopping. So whatever the database service start and stop, those services entry we have in the daemon.ini. So like index servers, name server, index XX engine. So those services are the entries for those services are maintained in daemon.ini. So daemon.ini look for this responsible for starting and stopping the services. What of the services are maintained in the daemon.ini files. The name servers .ini which hold the landscape information about the systems. Okay, so yeah, so this we are the common. We don't touch these files, but other files, configuration file will do the touch. Okay, so now how to configure this one? So we'll go in the systems. I'll show first from the OS level. So SID ADM login with SID ADM, and then go to the USR SAP SID. Then sys is there. Not go back. Yeah. USR SAP sys. Go to the sys. I'm audible, guys, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then go to the globals. Yeah. And then go to the HDB. And then go to the custom. The path is very lengthy. And then here we have the config. Okay, so let me clear this one. The path is this one. Okay, if you see that PWD, the path is USR SAP SID sys global HDB custom config. So in interview questions, they ask what is the path for the configuration, the files. So this path you can, explain USR SAP, SID sys global HDB custom config. If you list what is there inside that one. So under that, you will see this is for your system DB. Okay, so under that customs, you will see the parameters for your system DB. Okay, and then for all your tenants will be there in the dev DB underscore dev. Okay, so this is your tenants DB parameters. So inside that we have the XX engine, global.ini, index servers.ini. Okay, so whatever the parameters you change, those changes will reflect here. We'll see practically. Okay, so the system DB all there in here. Okay, so index servers.ini is not available, so it is the bugs. Okay, so but we have here, so this is not used. So here mostly the global.ini, then XX engine. Yeah, these are all okay. This XX engine is also not there. Okay, so global.ini. If you see the name server is not there. Okay, so if you change any parameters, in name servers.ini in system DB, then the name servers.ini will be created here. Okay, so if you see that we don't have anything for the name servers.ini. Okay, so whatever the parameters it changed during the installations or after the installations. Okay, so during the installation we provide the path for the HANA shared, then logs and the data, so that we providing the information. Okay, so what are the information we provide? Those are stored in the global.ini. And if you see the global.ini, okay, you will see, let me go back. So you will only see the details about your it is multi-DB. Okay, and then the location for your logs and the data. And also I changed the this one, if you remember that for the mapping, the public IP to hostname mappings, I changed in the the system DB in the global.ini. Okay, so whatever you change, those parameters you can see from the OS level. So from the OS level, you can see the what things are changed during and the and after the installation. So these are the these are the done through installations. Okay, but after that, whatever the parameters you change, you will see from OS level. So by looking this file, you can say that yeah. So these are the parameter change after the installations. Yeah, so don't touch these parameters, don't modify from the OS level. So whatever things you, for your reference, you can go and you can watch, okay, these parameters if you want. If you want to just to cross check. So yeah, so this all parameters you can check, but you can't, you can maintain but not advisable from the OS level. Okay, similar like if you go in the tenants, sorry, the same information you will see, but in the tenant database if you see, we have the global.ini files, but this global.ini files is only for the your system DB. Okay, sorry, your tenant database. So we have not changed anything in the global.ini of the system DB tenant database. We have changed for the system DB. So system DB global. So these parameters are global. These parameters are global. So which is applicable for your entire systems. So HANA data SID, HANA log SID is for your entire systems. Okay, complete systems. And this parameters is also for complete systems. Okay, so in the global.ini for the tenants, we have not maintained anything. We'll see that how to maintain. Yeah. Any questions till now?
So as a part of installation, whatever is set, we do not touch anything, right? There is no need of
Correct.
modification.
Yes.
Only if SAP suggests something, or if there is anything that is written, then only we'll go and modify. No need, no steps are there for modifying anything.
No, yeah. So for this highlighted one, don't modify the highlighted one. Okay, but after that, the installations we have to configure the HANA systems as per the recommendation. So I'll cover that one now. So yeah, I'll cover that one. So till now, any questions? Whatever I explained. Okay. So coming to your questions, so these are the just whatever I explained. This is for your information only, but there are a lot of parameters we maintain. Okay, like I explained in the monitorings. We enable the expensive statements. If you want to monitor the expensive statements for HANA systems, we have to enable the some parameters. If you want to restrict, the users use all HANA memory. If you want to restrict, we can restrict from the configuration files. So we can restrict the single statements, allocating, we can, allocate the, the memory for single statement. For example, if you allocated 50 GB for the single statement, then users can, execute a statement which consuming up to 50 GB. If it is consuming more than 50 GB, then that statement is automatically cancelled. So this kind of setups we can do in the HANA systems using the configuration files. So we'll see that how to do that first. So after the installations or patching of HANA systems or upgrade, so whatever we do like patching, upgrade, installations, after this activity we have to change the configuration files. Okay, there is a SAP note, one SAP note is there. One SAP note is there. Just remember this SAP note 1969700. Okay, this is very important SAP notes. Okay, so this SAP notes we have to follow. Okay, so if we see that it is very big SAP note, 15 page. But what is the exactly this? What content is SAP note? I'll explain that one. So basically, this SAP note is common for everyone. Basis, the ABAPer, BWT, functional team. Okay, if they want to troubleshoot anything related to the HANA systems, okay, and which they are not aware what to do. Okay, so some so the SQL nodes, these ATP nodes contain the SQL scripts. So if you see here is the SQL script. attachment is there. Maybe where is the attachment? Yeah, if you see that, this is the attachment. Okay, so this we have to use for HANA 2.0, and this is for the HANA 1.0 119. Okay, 119 means HANA 111, the revision. Okay, so if you open these SQL nodes, okay, so there are lot of is there. So I already downloaded. It is in the zip files. If you extract, so lot of SQL statements are there. Okay, like if you want to see the short dump for ABAPs, okay, ABAP parameters, okay, then ABAP update errors, table loggings, ABAP table loggings, the backup histories, okay, broken failed backups, backup runs, okay, then backup catalog size of the backups, okay. So okay, so there's most of the are related to monitorings and troubleshooting kind of things. Okay, so what we have to look in this one for configuration files. Okay, so if you see here, I'll explain that later. Okay, so if you see that BW, data target, BW DSO operation. Okay, so inconsistency of the DSO tables. Okay, so all the consultant who work in the HANA, so for there they have their for that for troubleshooting for in that their area, SAP provided the scripts. Okay, for if you see that for the basis we have the backups script and all that. So if you want to see the catalogs for the backup size of the catalog size for the backups, you run this one script. So it will show you the size of the catalogs, backup catalog size. So this is inbuilt script. Okay. So that I am not looking. So it is very big script. So if you go with this SAP notes, you will get. So if you see that you can see the HANA consistency, object dependency, the table lob locations, okay, CPU utilization per core, okay, like this, consistency checks for your tables, okay, then disk overview, okay, disk space. So if you want to extract your disk utilizations, memory utilizations, okay, you can do from here as well. Okay, memory utilization is also there. So this, oh yeah, then file systems and indexes. Okay, so memory related license. Okay, if you want to find out the license users types, you can have. If you want to see the license overview, you can have this one. IOs. If you have any IOs errors, issues, then you can just look for this recipe, this script. Live caches issue related. Okay, lot of things are there for memories. If you want to see the memory out of events, okay, out of dumps, if you run this one, it will show you the so the if any memory out of dump is generated, it will show you that memory out of dumps. Okay, here you can see the memory overviews. Memory overviews mean memory utilizations for your HANA systems. Okay, so this memory management I'll explain. So in the memory, HANA memory, we have the lot of things are there. So a lot of components are there like ABAP stacks, the coding, the code programs, then heap memory. Okay, so each and every area, how much the memory they occupied, you will see using this script. Okay, like this top memory consumption. Okay, consumed by HANA database. You can see that one. Okay, network services, network issue. If you want to troubleshoot, you can use. So it's very big SAP node. Okay, so most yeah. Yeah, okay, fine. So what I'm looking here. So what we are looking here. So we are looking configuration files. So if you see that here we have the configuration parameters. Okay. Okay, so this I am looking HANA underscore configuration underscore parameters. So depends upon your SAP version. Okay, depends upon your SAP version. You have to find out if your SAP version is HANA 2.0 SP03, then you run this one. If you have HANA 2.0 SP04 and above, then you use this one. So our case, we will use this one because we are on above SP04. So what is this? Okay, so if you open this one, you will see this, all the scripts. So basically, this script will give you the recommendation. This script give you the recommendation what parameters you have to configure for your HANA systems. Okay, so if you see below, output is there. Yeah, so like here we have the section, then yeah we have the configuration files here, then here we have the section, we have the parameters name, it is a default value, configured value, then recommended, what SAP recommend. So whatever the recommendation, that recommendation we have to implement. Okay, so earlier we do this all configuration manually, in older days, few years back, almost 4 to 5 years back, we do this all configuration manually. Now this is automated. You run this script, depends upon your OS, depends upon your uh, database version. You run, it takes 5 to 6 minutes to extract the details, and then it will give you the recommendations. Now we'll see that how to execute. Okay, so you just open this one and then control all, simple control all, select control C, go to the system DB. Let me close everything, log into the system DB, open SQL console, and then here just paste it, and then here just click on the execute. This will take 4 to 5 minutes. Okay, so yeah, so don't touch, leave it. So it will give you the recommendation. So you have to run this in the system DB and also all the tenant database, and whatever the recommendation it show, that recommendation we have to implement, and whatever the recommendation you implement, the changes are reflected at the OS level at this location. Okay, so this location, so we'll see that one. So when we have to update this recommendation, so whenever you do the HANA upgrade, database upgrade, HANA installations, HANA database installations, the patching, whether it is revision patching, support pack patching, or upgrade, or maintenance revision, even small upgrade, that is the maintenance revisions. Each and every patching and upgrade, you have to run these recommendations. Okay, even if you are doing the OS upgrade, if you are changing the, you are upgrading the hardware, like you are adding the CPU, you are adding the memory, your HANA systems, OS upgrade, OS kernel upgrades, whatever you do, whatever the upgrade, the patching related to the hardware, related to the OS, related to the database, after that you have to run this script. Okay, so when this script is run, it checks for your hardware, it checks for your kernels, it checks for your CPU, it checks for your memories, it checks for your HANA versions, and then based on your configuration, it's give you the recommendations. Yeah, so make sure whatever upgrade you do, hardware upgrade, OS upgrade, kernel OS upgrade, or recipe database upgrade, or patching, you have to run this script. Okay, if you see below, so this is the output, you will get the output like this. Okay, So if you see that this is the evolution time is today, then statement the version. So this statement we executed, then this is the SAP node. Okay, a revision. This is my current revision HANA 2.00 488.02 maintenance revision. Then SIDs. Okay, system DB, then host name, then environment, multi tenants. Okay, then CPU. If you see that CPU 8 CPU I have, so it has extracted the CPU number as well. Then the GAL, global allocation limit. So global allocation limit is 57 GB for entire HANA systems. Okay, and then here is the log volume size. So it also look for the log volume size. Okay. Okay, so if you see below, here we have the the globe file names, INA files names. Here we have the section. Here we have the parameters name, what parameters name. Okay, and then yeah, this is nothing. Configuration. So this is the current configurations. That my audio something issues. Yeah. Now I'm audible, right? Hello, guys, I'm
Yes,
audible, right?
yes.
Yeah, I
Now,
noticed that one. Yeah. Some maybe temporary glitch. Yeah. So whenever there is any issue, I get a notification. Yeah. So I stop. Yeah. So that here the configure value is 128, and the condition is that you use
sir, your voice is breaking.
the value
Hello.
between 2048 to 8192. Okay. So this is related to TCP. Huh? Tell me.
The
I'm
voice is
audible, guys. Others.
intermittently it's breaking.
Christian. Okay. So let wait for few. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. So is now better because the connection is okay.
Yes.
Okay, so just notify me if my voice is okay. Yeah, so SAP recommend that you should have this value. Okay, so this is okay in 20 the communication the TCP backlog. Okay, so SAP recommended to configure 4096. So this 4096 it give you the recommendation based on your CPU and then global allocation limit. Okay, the GAL value, the memory GAL value. So based on this one, it give you the recommendation. So whatever the recommendation you get, we have to apply this one. So if you want more details, here is the SAP note is there. What is this parameter? What does this parameters? You can get more details by reading this SAP note. And if you see here, SAP give you the recommendation as well to implement the parameters. Okay, so this is the SQL command. So if you double click here, then here is the SQL command. So using this SQL command, you can enter, you can change, alter systems, alter configuration, global.ini, then systems, then set. Okay, so this is the syntax. So set, communication section, the parameters name is this one and equal to value 4096 with reconfigure. So with reconfigured means it will overwrite the default one with 4096. So this is very simple. You just execute this one. But how to update from the configuration tab? We'll see that as well. Okay, but advisable use both configuration tab and this one. But configuration tab will take some time. Okay, will time consuming. But both option is available. Whatever the options you feel, you can use one. So we'll see that both one. So I'll show you that one how to do from the configuration tab, and rest I will do it from the SQL commands. Okay, before that I will extract this in Excel sheet, or just right click anywhere and then export results. Click on the export results. Okay, so just yeah, so let me put in the pictures. Sorry, let me put it here. So here I'm just giving the parameters name, name anything. I will just parameters underscore param. So this is for systemdb, yeah. So yeah, so systemdb I'm just okay, and then save, and then I'll open the SQL Excel. I'll open that in the Excel. So that whatever the files I exported, that is in the simple format. Okay, so that we have to open in Excel, and then we have to convert. Okay, so if you see all, where is where I kept music, so all files, yeah, this one. So all files, and then select this one. So this is, it doesn't have any format, yeah. So just open in Excel and then click on the yes button. Okay, now you convert this in the proper. So delimited, select a delimited. So if you see here are the semicolon, so I'll short with this semicolons. Select with delimited, then next, then the remove tab, then this is semicolon. Just click on the semicolons. Yeah, next, then finish. So just select all and then click this one, click this one. Okay, now so remove the unnecessary, the lines. This I don't need. Okay, now if you see that, now it's look better. Okay, so yeah, it's look better. Let me arrange one more times. This also I don't need. Okay, so let me put in the tables. This is, so we do this all thing for upgrade and all that. So so you just make sure that whatever you do in your development systems, so the same thing you have to follow for your entire systems, and you have to store this in somewhere else. Okay, so just let me, I just wanted to, yeah, so now it is better. So now this is the all we have to update the recommendation. We'll see that how to update. So through the configuration tab. Okay, so yeah, go to the systemdb. So we have executed this in the systemdb. So if you see here, it is giving, it give the recommendation only for global.ini, name server, preprocessor. Okay, but not index servers or xx engine. Okay, if it is give the recommendation for index server or xx engine, which is not part of your systemdb, don't implement. Okay, don't implement the recommendation in the systemdb for index servers or xx engine, because index servers and the xx engine is part of your tenants. Okay, so maybe so I have seen that while running in the in past, I get a recommendation for the index server and the xx engine for the systemdb as well. Okay, but that is not required. That is maybe bugs in the script. Okay, so if you see any recommendation through the script for your index servers, or xx engine, that means that there is a bugs, or maybe you're using the old script. Always use the latest script from the ACP service marketplace and use the correct versions. Okay, so if you use the old script or the version is not correct, then you will see the mismatch of the recommendation. So always use the correct script, latest script, based on your current version. Okay, fine. So now we'll see that how to update. So I'll update these parameters manually, and the rest I will update through the SQL commands. Okay, so go to the configuration tab in the system DB. The recommendation is from the system DB. Okay, then go to the global.ini. So here it says that file name is global.ini. Under the section, the communication section, open the communication section. This is the communication section. Under the communication section, open the parameters in TCP backlog. So TCP backlog, this is the TCP backlogs. So the parameters current is 128. Okay, and now it says that you configure the 4096. So just double click these parameters. Okay, now you just give the so here if you see that it is giving the recommendation for the system DB, so you have to maintain for all your systems, not here. Okay, so here you just type what is the recommendation value, 4096. 4096. So here it is system. Yeah, if you see the below is the tenants. This is our below are the tenants. So don't configure for your tenants. So tenants recommendation we will see in the tenant database. So what are the recommendation for systems? You just apply for the systems here. Okay, and then click save button. So if you see that here we have the systems. Okay, this is change. This is for your tenants. Okay, so don't do for this tenant. So this is only applicable for your system database. So here I change in the global.ini TCP backlogs. If you go back to the OS level, if you see here, let me go back to the systems. Okay, I change the global.ini. So if you see that today date is appearing, okay, so something change. If you find global.ini, then whatever I change, you will see here. If you see here, communication TCP underscore backlog 4096. Yeah. So whatever you do changes, it will reflect here. Okay. Fine. So now you can do for the remaining. Okay. So same thing, you can go global.ini, then memory managers. If you wish to do through the manually, you can do it manually, or okay. So I'll show you one or two through manuals, and the rest I will show you through the SQL. So here manuals, so this is done. Then memory, so statement memory limits. So memory management, statement memory limit, then statement memory limit. So what is that exactly? So right now if you see that nothing is configured 0, so means your statement, the user statement, whatever they execute, they can consume entire system's memory. Okay, entire memories, and which will give you 100% memory utilization. If they execute something, some bad code, bad programming, if they use some bad programming language or coding something kind of, because of that it required more memories and all that. If their programs and reports is not tuned properly, okay, then sometime what happened, the statement require more memory to execute the task. Okay, so here it is 0, means the statement use your entire memory. You can restrict these parameters with these parameters. So this is the recommendations you can set from 6 to 17. So this recommendation, it's give you based on your current memory. So current memory means global allocation. If you see here, if you go this based on this one. So if you have 1 TB, then your recommendation will be different. Okay, maybe around 1 TB. If it is, then it will give you the recommendation 400 GB you can use, or 300 GB something. So whatever the recommendation you get, just implement. Okay, so this statement will limit the execution of the single statement. So here it is says that 9 GB you can put. So 57 I have. It is as it is given the recommendation, you can have the 9 GB. Okay, so go to the here, double click, and then here you just put 9 and then save it. Okay, so now these two parameters we implemented. Okay, so like this you can implement all others. Okay, now here if you see, we have the implemented command. Okay, so you can use through this one. In single steps you can implement all. Just copy this all. Okay, if you are okay with configuration, you can do it. If you want to do it from the SQL, just open the SQL commands. I always use the SQL command because in one click everything it get updated. Okay, so this one execute. Okay, and then here you have to just at the end you have to put, to close the single statement by semicolon. So here you have to type semicolon semicolon. Okay, then semicolon 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 semicolon. Okay, now select all and then execute. So it takes seconds, okay, to configure everything. Yeah, now if you see that it is done. Okay, so all is executed successfully. Okay, now so if you want to cross checks, you can check it. Go to the configuration tabs and look for one of the parameters. Third parameter we'll see, like this one, global resource tracking. It is also in the memory. Where is the resource tracking? Okay, let me refresh first. Just clause validate globals, then resource tracking, R, resource tracking, then enable tracking false, then it is on, so it is configured. So this resource tracking, these parameters are the this resource tracking means it will track your CPU and the memory utilization. Also it will track the expenses statements. Okay, so this configuration is only for the expenses statement kind of. And if you see this is num underscore core, this num underscore core is nothing but the CPUs. Okay, so the system DB is, you can use maximum 4 CPU. Here it is recommended 4. Okay, so currently we have the 8 CPU. So num core is for your CPU parameters. Yeah, and if you let me see something here. Okay, fine. Yeah, so if you see that expensive statement, so this expensive statement is not configured because in systemdb we don't have anything, so it doesn't give any recommendation for your expensive statement in the systemdb. Okay, so it will give you the recommendation for your talent database. We'll see that one. So once you have done this all implementation, you re-execute again and check if anything is coming or anything is missed from our side. Just execute again. It will give you the recommendation again. If there is no recommendation, then it will give you 0. Then it will give you nothing. So it will give only the informations which related to the your system information only. So we do this for whenever we do the upgrade and all that. Once you're done with the systemdb, then same thing you have to execute in the Canon database. And in tenant database, you will get more recommendation, more and more recommendation, because in the tenants, it having the actual database, and there you will get more recommendations. In systemdb, you will get only the minimum related to the you know you know entire systems. So in earlier days, we do this all configuration manually, like memory tracking, CPU configuration, memory configuration. Okay, so there's as per experience and the knowledge, we configure those, what are the parameters we know. Okay, what are the parameters we feel that it is applicable, which will applicable for the performance, provide a good performance. So yeah, so earlier it was all is manual, and lot of issues we faced that day. Now it is automated. So yeah, so SAP only provide the recommendation. So if you see now, if you see that nothing is there here. Okay, so only the system information. So we are good with the system DB. Now we have to execute the same for the tenant database. Now close all system DB, otherwise you will implement in the system DB. Okay, log out, even log out from the system DB as well. Okay, so log into your tenant database, and then open the script, Control Alt, Control C, then open the SQL console, and then run. So don't change any other parameter except from this. Okay, if you want to change, then get in touch with SAP. Just check with SAP. If SAP suggests, then you can change it. Otherwise, don't change. Or if you find any SAP node which says that you can change it, this parameter, if you are getting some issues. So there may be some issues, like if you get a dumps in SAP applications, and if you search on the Google's or SAP node, if you find something related to parameters, and if it is you're talking about the same issues which you are getting, okay, then you can implement. If there is any SAP nodes to change, then you change it. Sometime what happened, that parameters, the statements, this one, the whatever the SAP recommend, nines. So most of the times this this recommendation is the minimum recommendations. Okay, but if you want to increase, you can increase this size as well. Okay, so sometime what happened, the the functional team or the ABAP or BW team, they say that we cannot tune these parameters, and the whatever the limit is set, that is set is very low, and my statement is getting cancelled. So we have to sit with them. We have to do the testing in development, or not in the development will be different. So the quality system, which is the same as the productions. Okay, so we can test this in the quality system, and we can see that how much memory it is required. Okay, for example, if you set 100 GB, and then after 100 GB, that is not enough for this statements. It required, after the 100 GB utilization, it cancelled. The statement is getting cancelled. Then you set 128, 125, then it's cancelled. Then you set 150, then cancel. You set 200, then cancels. Okay, so you can decide up to how much I can set. If you see that after 2 3 and 2 3 iterations, it is getting failed, then ask them to involve SCP to get this code corrected. So I faced this issue in one of the projects, okay, recently, where we had the migrations. Okay, we migrated to new hardware. Then we also upgraded the HANA database, okay, to 2.0. Okay, it was on HANA 1.0. And then whatever the memory statement limit was set in the 1.0, I set the same one in 2.0. And then in 2.0, that statement, their statement, one statement was, getting cancelled. It was set to 500 GB because my memory was, 8 TB in that database. So I set for, 500 GB. It cancelled. Then I set to 600, cancel. Then 700, then cancel. Then I set 750, then it cancels. So 750 GB means almost 1 TB. So it taking almost 1 TB, almost to 1 TB, and it's still a statement is getting cancelled. So I asked to just connect with SAP, raise with SAP and check with the SAP. Then SAP they raised, and then they come, the SAP checked, and then SAP come back that this statements you have to tune as per the HANA 2.0 the recommendations. So they have their own recommendation as well for their statements. So SAP given some parameters to change in their statements. So statement hints are there. Okay, statement hints we call. So they put the statement hints in their SQL statements in the queries, and they executed, and it's run successfully. So the some of the SQL statement which are on 1.0 and after the migrations to 2.0 upgrade, and then some of the statement will not execute. So they require some tuning. Okay, so if the ABAP or BW consultant are not know these are all their part, then it's difficult for the basis. So you just give the try for 2 or 3, and if it is getting failed after increasing, then you go and check with the ACP. This is something related to the code optimizations. You check with ACP. So this way we resolve it. Yeah. Fine. So if you go back, we will go back. So if you see, I run this in the tenant database, and here is the tenant database recommendations. So if you see that there are a lot of recommendations, all related to the index servers. Why? In the index servers, we have the actual data. Okay. So global, we have execution expenses statement enables. If you see that expenses statement enables. So here it is enable the expenses statements, but not in the system DB. The statement you will execute always in tenants. Okay, so here it is enabled. Then persistence. Okay, this is related to the memory management. GC means garbage collection. So this is related to the delta merge. Okay, so we'll see that delta merge tomorrow. These are all parameters. So what are the recommendation parameters there? There are a lot of things are there. If you want to view the ACP node, you can read these ACP nodes. Okay, against your parameters. Here is the configured value, and here is the recommendation value. So whatever the recommendation it's you just implement it. Okay, don't think twice. It is ACP recommendations. So let me see if something is related to the CPU or memory. Yeah, not this. Not related to the CPU and the memory. Okay, so if you see that, yeah, so fine. Okay, so we need to implement this all the same thing. Right click, export the results. Okay, then here put parameters of tenants. Then open the SQL Excel. Open. Then click yes. Then delimited it with semicolons. Then finish. Then adjust, delete unnecessary rows, then columns. I don't need this one as well. And now you can implement. If you want to implement one by one, you go and implement one by one. I'll show you one, and then later I'll do for others with the SQL statement. So go to the tenants database. I already logged in. double click, okay, and then go to the configuration tab. Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, so go to the configuration tab, then global.ini, then under that global.ini executions, then execution is the default memory statement concurrency limit 0. It says that you configure the force, just double click, and don't, if you see that it is here system, it is not showing here. Yeah, the system, the parameters gray out here. So always ensure that you set for your tenant. So here is the, by default you'll get this one. So here you set for database. Okay, now if you see that here, you'll get this one. Okay, so here you'll get this one as well. So if you don't want to implement for this one, then you can have, yeah, so here you have the host. Okay, so only this one is there. It is not mentioning anything because you already log in into the tenant database. So from the tenants, you cannot modify your system's parameters. Yeah, system parameters you cannot modify from tenants. Here it will show you this one like this, but it doesn't mean that you implement it for your system DB. Yeah. Then yeah. So now we'll show you how to do through the console. Open that one, and then simply go this one. I will copy all the implementation command. Okay, I will open the text file because this is the big one. So here I have to put the semicolons. Then execute. It takes time. So these all things nobody will explain you in other trainings because they only give you the theory information. So whatever there in the books and all that. But this all comes from experience. Okay, so I seen that people I seen that other training materials as well, but they have not covered this one. They covered only the things are there in the books. Okay, so in the books always it is theory, but practical part always come from uh, from the experience and by reading the SAP notes and all that. Yeah, fine. So if you see that all is implemented, rerun again to see any others recommendations. Okay, no other recommendation if you see that. Okay, so we implemented 4 systems and the tenants, so make sure that you get 0 recommendations. That means that your systems is configured well. This all configuration is related to the your SAP workload management. So workload management means HANA database workload management. If you don't configure this one, then you will see the performance issues. Okay, your HANA database is not configured for to handle the workload. Your HANA database is not configured to to run the multiple parallel processes. Okay, multiple the sessions and all that. Okay, so as per the recommendation we have to do. And also if you see that here we have the undo parameters as well. If you want to unset, undo some of the parameters, Okay, if it is creating any issues, for example, that never the case. If in case if any issues and if you feel that the issue is related to this one, or SAP says that you just remove these parameters, you can unset this one. So using, if you see that unset, the difference between the implementation command and the undo, in the implementation you'll get set, but here you will get unset. Okay, some of the parameter which is set in the systems, like this static server is active, the configuration value is true, it is say that checks why it is set. Okay, so if it is not giving any recommendation, if you set already some parameter is set by default, okay, and that parameter is not recommended by this one here, then you will get check why set. So it will scan all the parameters which is set by you. Okay, okay, those it will show you as well. So if you see that check why it is set, then you refer these SCP notes, and the most of the time we remove this kind of parameters. Okay, most of the time. So if you see that here it is says that you unset, so it is de-implemented this one, statistics was active. Okay, it is de-implemented. So if you see that here is, yeah, it is de-implemented. Okay, fine. So here is the if you want to revert whatever the parameters were there before implementation, these all are the commands. If you execute this one, then it will unset whatever we have done till now. Okay, the next, once it is done, you just restart your HANA database. Okay, some parameters are dynamic, some parameters are static. So most of the 80%, 80 to 90% parameters are dynamic, don't require a restart. Only 10% require a restart, but I don't know which parameters are static and which parameters are dynamic. So yeah, so it's difficult to identify it, and there's no clear-cut indications. Maybe that I seen long back one PDF, that PDF talks about which parameter is static and which parameter is dynamic, which parameters require a restart, which parameter doesn't. Safer side, you just implement this and then you restart. Stop your application, then you restart your database after implementations. Plant is implementation during the maintenance window. Okay, Saturday or Sunday. Don't implement during the run times. If the operation is going on and if you implement, something goes down, then it's create a problems. So always do these recommendations in plant maintenance window. Yeah. Any questions, guys, till now?
Is there a way to export the current configurations? Like if SAP asks for the details, do we have a place in the SAP GUI where we can, Studio, where we can export the current configuration from?
Yeah, so SAP never asks for single information. If you raise any SAP node, SAP incident, and SAP want to troubleshoot without logging into the system, they will ask you to upload the HANA full system dump, that we call FSD, full system dump. Yeah, so how to extract it? So you just do for your system DB and the tenant database as well. Okay, so you do it through here. If you log into HANA systems, if you go in the diagnostics, then here somewhere is there collect. Okay, diagnostic information, then collect all diagnostic informations. Okay, collect multiple sets. So here you just click on the collects like this, or you can do from the one SAP node is there. You just run that SAP node from the OS level. Some Python script is there. Okay, and I'll search that SAP node and I'll show you that next time. So if you run that one, then it will take the configuration of your entire HANA systems from OS level, from your database as well, what are the parameters you have set, everything you will take. So basically it will take the information about the files from the OS level. So what are the parameters you set for the system DB, then what are the parameters you set for your tenant database. Okay, those all information it will take, and then you just upload that into the SAP, the message. Okay, so SAP will never ask for your single the single the files. So it always asks you to upload the full system dump. The full system dumps cover everything. Okay, coming to your questions, if you want to extract the parameters, whatever the parameters is configured for your tenant database, system database, you simply go and OS level. Okay, simply, so this is the best way. Let me so whatever the things you have done in the configuration, okay, you can see from here as well. So whatever the parameters you modified, you will see everything here. So global.ini, then if you see in DB, the VHN, lot of parameters in tenants. Okay, so if you see that earlier the index servers were not there. Sorry, some of the things are not. What is that? DP underscore there. So from here you can see that what are the configured. Okay, so you can view this one as well. Okay, okay, so if you see that whatever we have configured, everything is there. Okay, so if you want to see, does this answer your questions?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to see what parameters is configured and what are the parameters the change happened till now, you can just execute this script. Okay, the configuration parameter change, so it will show you the okay based on your release. If you see the plus means it is applicable for your SP045s. Yeah, so if you execute this one here, so it will show you the what are the parameters we have changed till now. So these all are the parameters changed with the date and time, today's date, and here is the changes. Yeah, what we have changed. Okay, this is the things which we have the who change, which users. Yeah, like this. So you will get everything. Okay, so easily you can find out is there any changes recently. If someone asks we are getting X and Y Z error, is there any changes in the HANA parameters, you run this one and you can check no changes in recent days. Yeah, like this. What is this one? Let me see. What is this one? So this statement, SQL statement, SAP node is very important. Lot of things are there. Okay, so if you go and see, you'll get a lot of things. Yeah, sorry, this is there. This is also there here. The HANA configuration parameters values. Okay, what are the values we have configured? Okay, so this is nothing. Yeah, so let me configure this one and see what output we get with this one. Okay, so this will show you the current configurations. So coming to your answers, questions, yeah, you can execute this script as well. Okay, this script HANA configuration parameters value. Okay, so what are the values is configured in HANA systems for your systems or tenants. So you run this in systems or tenants. Okay, instead of going to the OS level, you run, it will show you the current configurations. So whether it is all parameters default and the parameter which you implemented, okay, it will show you everything. So if you see this, we have changed just now. Okay, these are all these things. Okay, so here it will show you everything. You just download in Excel and then you can look for this one. Yeah, from this script you can see all the the parameters configure for your tenants. If you want to see in systems, then you run the same in the system database. Okay. Any questions, guys? Are there any other questions related to this?
I have one more question.
Yeah.
If suppose I have made some mistake and there is an issue in the configuration, what is the visible change we see in the system? I mean, what will happen?
So I didn't get you. Changes
So,
of the
will
parameters,
my
the
DB be
wrong
down
numbers.
totally? Yes, yes. Will my DB go down completely if I put some random values, if I'm not aware what to be set? Or if somebody has gone and tampered any of the data over here, so what will happen? Will I not be able to connect to my DB? The DB will be completely down, or what is the error that we see?
DB will not be down completely. You may face some issues like alerts and all that. Okay. The DB only down in case of if you change the memory parameters the more than available, then in that case you won't able to start your HANA systems. The CPU and the memory parameters are very important. If you change anything, for example, the more than available, then in that case you won't able to start the HANA systems. So how to revert? The simple thing, you revert it from the OS level. Okay, I'll show you the example. So for example, yeah, so I want to restrict the memory allocation for my tenants. I don't want my tenants database should use more than 32 GB, for example. So I have 64 GB OS level. Okay, total in HANA, and the global allocation is set for 50. System database can utilize the memory up to 57 GB. But here I wanted to set my memory for tenants to 32 GB. If you see that here it is 56 almost. Okay, but available is 64. So go to the configuration. So log into the tenant database. Go to the configurations. Okay, then yeah, so configurations global.ini. Okay, so look for SAP node first. Whatever you just go and look for the SAP node. Okay, SAP memory, always memory allocation for tenants, because the SAP nodes keep changing. So yeah, so always look. I'll show you the example. Open there is a one SAP node. Not sure if I downloaded on my laptop. If you said how to set the allocation limit for your tenant database. Okay, so let me first stop this recording. So this is the SAP node.
This conference will now be recorded.
So if you see here, this SAP node is updated last in the Feb. Okay, so always this SAP node is getting updated. You want to manage and control the memory uses for your multi-container systems by configuring the allocation limit for individual tenant database, which we will do. So applicable for 1.0 and 2.0. So resolution, you can use the allocation limit in memory managers to limit the maximum amount of the memory. So memory manager may, in that we have the allocation limit. Okay, we have the allocation limit. That is the parameters. So this parameter we have to set whatever the memory allocate you want to allocate for tenants, you have to set. So if you see here, for if you have the HANA 1.0 SP 11, till that one, you use this command. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, your tenant database name and set this one. So you can set from the configuration tab. So don't set from the SQL, because if you miss anything, then it may create a problems. So if you see that it says that you set in the index.ini, inside that index.ini, you go to the memory managers, and in that you will get allocation limit. and then you set the memory parameters whatever you want to set. This is for till up to SP11 HANA 1.0. For equal to this is less than, yeah, equal to or greater than, and then HANA 2.0. Okay, so rest you use this one. Okay, so alter systems configuration, here is the global.ini. Okay, then database, tenant database set. Okay, allocation limit. This is for you need to restart. If you see that for HANA 1.0, you need to restart the database. For later SPS, memory allocation happens on the fly. To confirm the changes of the system, blah 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 blah, you can use. So we'll implement this one. So always go for the SAP node, this SAP nodes. So this SAP node is keep changing based on the your versions. Yeah. So we'll see that. So to unset, okay, fine. So in our case, we will use this one. Okay. So I'll show you that. Go to the your tenant database, log into the tenant database, go to the configuration global.ini, and then inside that global.ini it says that go to the memory managers. Okay, then memory managers. Then this is the allocation limit. This is the allocation limit. Okay, so this allocation limit, double click, and if you see that here you have, you'll already log in your tenant database. Set is in here it is the MB, so just put that value in the MB. So 32 GB into 104, if you do conversion, then it is like this in MB. So 32,768, 32. If you configured more than I have the 64 GB, then it will be fine. If you configure more and that amount of memory you don't have, then your HANA database will crash. Okay, so in that case, what to do? I'll show you that. So here, if you see that general error changes not allow for the tenant database. Okay, so here it is says that you cannot change it for your from the tenant database. Okay, so yeah, so in the HANA 2.0, if you see the SAP node, if you want to do for if you have the below this one, then you go in the index servers.ini, log into the tenant database. But in 2.0, you have to log into the system database first. Okay, so I'll log into the system database, because this changes is done to the system database. It won't allow you to change from tenants, because the memory and the CPU allocation is done from the system DB. So these parameters are globals, and these parameters you can change it from the system DB. So log into the system DB, go to the configuration again. Okay, then global.ini, then memory managers. This is for 2.0. If you have the HANA 1.0 below SP1, then you just log into the tenants and then do the configurations. Then memory managers, allocation limit. Now here is the value for the systems. We don't want to put for the value for the systems. We want to put for my tenant database dev. If you see here, you select your tenant database. Okay, if it is not, then go below little, then you set 32,768 something. Okay, now click save button. So this is set for your tenant database. So tenant database will use 32 GB. It is more than that. So if you see that value is in the MB, the allocation value is in MB. Okay, so now just refresh it, the changes is on fly. Okay, so this should change. I guess 56 is there now. So after some time you'll see that 32 something for your tenant. So I log in tenant database. So if you want to see, to confirm the changes with the system DB connections, open this one. So you run this in the system DB and check whether the configuration which we have done for tenants, whether it is done correctly or not, whether it is reflecting correctly or not. If you execute this one, okay, so you will get the index servers. If you see that the physical memory size 33 something. So here if you see this one, then that means that it is configured. Okay, so your index server will use 32 GB all you know. So this is the memory areas, different memory areas, heap memory, the shared memory. Okay, I will cover this part tomorrow. Okay, so effective allocation, the allocation limit, if you see that 34, that is it is in the bytes. If you convert this one, then it will come to the 32 GB. Whatever we have implemented, you will see the allocated. So whatever you have allocated, you will see here. So that means that although allocation is done perfectly. Okay, if it is not reflecting here, that means that there may be some issues uh, in the bugs and all that. So it should say, it should say should show the allocation for your tenant database. In the landscape, if you see, your allocation will change. Or if you see the index servers, it is showing the now if you see the effective allocated, it is 35 something. Yeah, so that much of allocated. So by this, if after setting this one, if your HANA database suddenly goes down, crash, then how you will re-implement? How will revert? So only option is that you just go to the OS level. Okay, you have changed in the system DB. Then in the global.ini, you just go here and then remove these parameters. There is this where let me see in back. Let me see if it is reflecting in the tenants. I think it will reflect in tenants. Not sure, but it should reflect. Yeah, it is reflecting in the tenants because it is configured for the tenants from the system DB. So if you remove these parameters, if you hash out, okay, then if you open at global.ini via global.ini, and then if you hash this one like this one, you can hash out this one. Ship like this, you can hash out. You can hash out this one and save it, restart your systems, then the parameters will be reverted. So what are the parameters you want to revert? If the system is not coming up and you want to revert it and you don't getting the access for HANA Studio, then go to the OS level, just either hash out, just here you do the hash out, save it, and then restart. So I'm not going to save this one. Yeah, so you can hash out the parameters as well. Okay, so I face these issues. Okay, so in the solution managers, the memory was there, but it was almost occupied. So also you ensure that that much of amount of memory should be free. Okay, so in my the recently just now. Okay, so when I was doing this configuration, solution manager is ABAP and Java was there on the both systems. Okay, and then I was trying to do the memory configuration on fly for two tenants. one for Solman and ABAP and the Java. But I didn't realize the utilization. So current utilization is almost 80%. Okay, 82 to 90%. So I changed, without checking. Okay, and then I given the 1 TB was there, and only hardly 10 GB was free. So when I configured, that time the 90% was utilized. Then I given the 600 for ABAP, tenant database, and then 400 for 300 for my Java, and suddenly both crashed. Okay, then I stopped. I reverted from the OS level, and when I checked the OS level, the utilization was 90%. Then I stopped, then utilization go below, and then I done the changes. I made the changes here. So make sure that you do changes in the maintenance window. Before doing the changes, stop your application. Also, you just do a one stop of HANA database so that your memory utilization will go below, and then you just start, and then you change the parameters. Yeah, fine. Any questions? So this way you can revert the parameters. Yeah, what are the parameters you want to revert? Just hash out from the OS level, but take a one backups. Whatever the INF files you touching from the OS level, just take a backups. Just create a copy of that files. Yeah, any question, guys? Shant, then Rakesh, then Supratim. I have not heard any questions from you three. Any questions? All good?
Yeah, no question.
Okay. Any questions? Other questions, Jayati? Sorry, I forget. I not told. So, what is your name? Jayita, right?
Yeah, Jaita.
Jayita. Okay, Jayita. Yeah. Unique name.
Yeah. I have a question from the old chapters. I mean, the one that we did last day, tenant database creation.
Yeah, tell me.
So what I did was, after installing, I created two tenant database.
Okay.
The first one was the default, like the system ID for the same as the system database, and I uninstalled that. I decommissioned that, and I had now left with the second tenant database.
Okay.
So my Access Engine is gone because my primary tenant database I have removed.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So now what do we do?
So
Like,
Access Engine, it's if it is required, then so remaining tenant database, the Access Engine will not be there. If you want the Access Engine, then you can enable it. So yeah, so if you go in the so there's a ACP note how to enable that one. So if you go in the configuration of your tenant database, here you will see the Access Engine. Okay, so here you can see some parameters will be there. If you search how to enable the Access Engine in the tenant database, you will get some SAP notes that you have to follow. So just you have to create a services. So either from here you do the as a just you activate, or SQL command is there to activate the Access Engine in the tenant database. So parameters, I don't know which parameters there, but yeah, some parameters there to activate. So once you activate, then you will see the Access Engine.
okay.
Yeah, if you see that, no, not this one. This is the HTTP service. Yeah. So if you look for the SAP notes, then you will get the details. So always look for the SAP notes. Yeah, don't follow the Googles and the SCN, because as per your SAP version, you have to follow the SAP notes if you get any SAP notes.
I think it was giving an SQL statement to enable the HTTP server.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Something is
So
there to enable the.
From systemdb, I should be executing that SQL statement.
Not from the system DB, from the
from the
tenant. Yeah, tenants. Yeah, because we need that in the tenant database.
okay.
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 Any other questions? Okay, fine. So no questions, then we'll stop, and then tomorrow we'll see the memory management and the daemon as well. So roles and responsibility for daemons. Also, we'll see that startup sequence. So what happened in the background when we do the start and the stops for the HANA systems? What things is happening in the background? So we'll see that tomorrow, same time. Yeah.
Sir, one question. If we
Yeah.
like to install from HDB-LCM GUI, then what is needed? Because
SDB LCM View, if you want to install, then your OS these should support the GUI installations. Like XX window is there, X window server is there. That X window server needs to be there to launch the GUI. Okay, and from your SAP, from your laptops, on your laptops, instead of putty, you have to use the X managers for Windows. Yeah, you need to install X managers on your laptops. Okay, and also you have to ask your the OS team to install the X managers servers on that particular HANA servers. Yeah.
here can we not here can we do
Sorry?
that?
We cannot do because we don't have the X manager servers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so X manager that required on the OS level. So so that is not. So always use the command line. Everyone is using the command interface because it doesn't require any additional software install on the servers, and we don't want any additional servers to be services. Should be running on the OS level. So yeah, so that GUI is coming days will be will be absolute. So if you see that older days we use the GUI the base SAP installation. Now that GUI based installation is not there for the SAP. If you see that latest one, then all the installation through the SWPM is done through the URL base. You'll get the URLs, you open that URLs in the browsers, and then then you do the you follow the instructions. Okay. Earlier we used the GUI. Okay, so we don't have the GUI for the SAP installation as well. So the coming days in features, the SAP also remove the GUI installation for the HANA database as well, because it's require additional steps to be done by at the OS levels. Additional services we need to configure and install to launch the GUI. Okay, so to avoid those things, we have the URL base for SAP installation, and for the HANA database, we have the command line interface. Yeah. Any other questions before I close? Fine. So tomorrow we'll have some session on the interview questions as well at the end. Okay. So we'll see what are the questions till now will be asked by the interviewer. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see. Yeah. So yeah, fine. So we'll disconnect if no questions. Yeah. Thank you all.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thanks all. Thanks all. Bye.